Hello, guys. What should you do after an MBA? This is a question which a lot of you guys face, whether it is graduating from your MBA, whether it is doing your MBA, or whether it is even before joining an MBA college. So, yeah, I faced the same issue. I've been in the same boat where I was doing MBA, I didn't know where to go, what to do post that. And having been through the stages, I feel your problems can be made simpler using bucketing. So you can bucket whatever you want to do after an MBA into 5 streams. So essentially, there are just or 90% of the students take just 5 routes out of their MBA. So I'll just explain each of that route, and I'll explain how do you go into that route and what is the prior qualification needed or preferred for people who want to go into that route, and a couple of good companies which hire for those particular students who choose to go to that stream, and from where you can grow your career, right? So yeah, let's start. So the first course is, or the first stream is finance. So in finance, you can split finance into sub streams, let's say investment banking, private equity, and corporate finance. So investment banking and private equity is where you help companies make deals, you facilitate the deal making process of the company, and you facilitate the fundraising process of the company. Right. So that's basically what a private equity and a investment banking stream guy does in the initial few years, and this is the 90% of the work. And the second part of finance is corporate finance, where you are employed in a big MNC and where you help them figure out what is the best use of the money they have. So yeah, this is finance, and finance is a very lucrative career in the sense that it gives you a lot more options to grow your career financially. Like, let's say if a guy passes out of his MBA, has an average salary of 15 lakhs, I'm pretty sure 2-3 years into his investment banking career, he would end up making 30 lakhs, 35 lakhs, which is a 2x jump in the first 3-4 years. So that leverage is what a guy who chooses a girl or a girl who chooses finance stream gets. Disadvantages, yes, we have long working hours generally in finance roles because it's very technical, and there's also a sense that you are disconnected from the way business operates and you are more into numbers. So finance is one of the streams where you can get into, and some good companies here are obviously your big fours. Big four have their own investment banking wing, and also there are niche private equity firms, investment banking firms, venture capital firms where you can get into. So this is how finance works. Okay, you are like, finance is not my cup of tea. Where do I go next? That's where we have consulting. Consulting, you would know that it's a dream shot of any MBA graduate. So consulting is a very, very lucrative field. It pays more than finance, or almost equal to, I would say, any guy who has a 6-7 years of experience in any other stream. So that is how a big three is McKinsey, BCG, Bain, pays in consulting, right? So basically, consulting is simple. A client comes to you, says that I'm not able to grow my revenue, or I have a lot of cost associated with the revenue I'm getting. Figure out ways to increase my revenue, figure out ways to decrease my cost, figure out ways to improve my employee productivity. It can be any problem which a business face. You as a consultant is responsible for figuring out what is the problem statement, figuring out the data associated with it, crunching the data, figuring out how to optimize for the solution problem, coming with a report and presenting it to the client. So this is the entire process of how a consulting works essentially, and it's a very lucrative field in the sense that you learn a lot. Your career path is like this. It's disproportionately high. So yeah, this is the second part, consulting, and the major companies are, I am pretty sure everyone would know it, BCG, McKinsey, Bain. They are called the big three. So yeah, this is the second part. Third part is product management. So product management is essentially a stream where people who go into it get to solve problems associated with the business directly. Let's say I work in Zepto. So let's say Zepto wants to come up with the features saying that, hey, I want to give the lowest price to every person who buys anything on my app, right? Which is Super Saver, which Zepto introduced recently. So that is just a concept in someone's mind. How do you ensure that that's communicated to the customer properly? Let's say you create a separate tab on the app. When someone clicks on the tab, you ensure that you give price as a call out, which is a very big portion of your product page. You ensure that you communicate this to the customer properly using your fancy text, change the color scale, figure out which products to give. So this is all what a product management does. So product manager essentially acts as a bridge between the business and the customer, and he is the guy who's tasked with ensuring whichever a business owner or a business head needs is translated into something very actionable for the customer, right? Like, let's say your Google Chrome was once an idea and now it's a product. So someone has created the Google homepage, right? He's a product manager. So product management is also a very lucrative course and a very lucrative stream. And the big companies which are hiring for product management are your Google, Microsoft, your Dell, all these big MNCs which have a really good product management career, I would say. And this stream is most suited for people who have a background in engineering and tech. Let's say you've done your engineering, you've worked in software development for a couple of years in, let's say, your TCS. You do an MBA, you can easily shift to product management, right? And yeah, I forgot to mention what is the right qualification or the preferable qualification for someone who wants to go into a finance. So for finance, I would say a CA or someone who has done a really good work experience in a big four. He's the right guy who can also choose finance. He's the right guy who's preferred. And for consulting, ideally there are no restrictions for consulting assets. So anyone can get into consulting with, you just need to have a right mindset. So yeah, this is and coming back to product management, again, as I told, software developer is the really good preferred qualification. So let's go to the next stream, which is management trainee. Management trainee is a role which basically gives you an exposure to all aspects of a business. I would say if you want to get into management training, what you do is you are allotted a particular department. Let's say you get to do a management trainee position in Aditya Birla. So Aditya Birla has multiple streams, right? Multiple companies, so as to say. They have Ultratech Cement, they have Aditya Birla Fashion. So you get to spend 3 months or a specified amount of time, let it be 6 months, in every particular company, so that you are groomed after 7-8 years to take on a leadership role in one of these companies where you would like, and also where the leadership team sees you a fit. So management training is a role where it's a very business focused role and you're groomed for future leadership roles, which is a very good way to take your career, right? So this is also suited for people who want to get into core business roles and they don't want to go into too much of a technical role like product management or finance, right? And there's no preferred pre-qualification for management training. Anyone who has done any UG can get into management training. So really good companies who are hiring here are again your conglomerates, your Aditya Birla, your Tata. Tata has another example called TAS. They take management trainees from there. So that's about management training. And next, last one is your founder's office and startup roles, which is really a good emerging field right now. And that's the stream which I opted for. So yeah, you actually finish your MBA, you figured out all this startup boom is going on in India, right? So any good startup can come and hire you and say that, hey, just manage this vertical for my business. Let's say Zerodha tomorrow wants to come up with an insurance vertical, and they would hire you and say that, hey, Pavan, you have to grow Zerodha's insurance vertical from 0 to 100 crores, right? So this is about the strategy roles in startup. There is also a program management role where you are in charge of a large program, let's say monetization program. You will have to ensure that you align all stakeholders. You'll have to ensure that your targets are being hit. You have to motivate your team. You're given a big team to ensure that they hit their targets. And there's also founders office roles where you work closely with the founder. You basically act as a second brain to the founder. So all these are really good emerging fields for an MBA graduate right now. So these are the five key things which, or five key streams which an MBA graduate can go. And drop in comments which field do you like and which field do you want to go in the future. Thank you.